Sedentary lifestyle is a growing problem right now, and this is because we are spending a lot of time sitting in offices when we are working, but also we are spending a lot of time sitting in cars, driving when we're going home or when we're going to work. And then when we reach home, we also spend a lot of time sitting, watching TV, and then the rest we spend sleeping. So if you look at that, you'll find out that we are not moving enough, and our body is actually designed to move. And this is a problem, and it is one of the main cause or contributing factor for the rising prevalence of non-communicable diseases. And partly, we really need to intervene so that we can actually prevent these diseases. And one thing which is very important is actually our workplace. Our workplace nowadays, we spend a lot of time sitting, and this is because of computers, which is good. We need to use technology, and we need to work. We cannot avoid that. But then you find out that there are a lot of people who will sit sometimes for 80 hours in a day. There are studies that have been done. One of them have been done in the US, whereby they followed women over the age of 50 to see the impact of sitting for a long period of time on mortality. This is death. They were actually following these women for 20 years. And then these women were actually grouped in four different groups. Those who were sitting for less than 4 hours, those who were sitting between 4 to 6, and those who were sitting between 6 to 8 hours, and those who were actually sitting for more than 8 hours. So then they followed them. And then after 20 years, when they came to see the records, a lot of those who were in the group where they were actually sitting for more than 80 hours, spending more than 80 hours sitting, they had actually died, a lot of them. And then few in the group who were actually sitting between 6 to 8, and then fewer between 4 to 6, and very few in the group that were actually spending less than 4 hours sitting. So it was a very continuous relationship when it comes to sitting. Like the people who were spending more time sitting had died than those who were spending less time sitting. So now there's a lot of research that show that sitting is actually a problem, but then we cannot avoid it. So what to do? You should not worry, because there are so many other things that can actually be done to prevent you from the detrimental effect of sitting for a long period of time. And some people have actually designed office furnitures which are actually adjustable, and they will give you time where you can actually sit and then stand up, so that you interfere with sitting. You don't want to sit for more than an hour without standing up. So then you have special furnitures that can actually help that. So you sit for 1 hour, and then you straighten it up, and then you stand, you continue working. So we cannot avoid working, so this has to continue. But then there are so many other ways that you can actually do at your office place to intervene the problem that can be brought about by prolonged sitting. We should also remember the fact that sitting is actually the main cause of lower back pain or chronic back pain, which is a big problem which people tend to overlook. But most of the time, people who spend a lot of time sitting, they end up getting chronic back pain, which is very disturbing. And sometimes they also end up getting disc problem, which is even worse, which can also go into having some leg problems. But sitting for a long period of time also has an effect on knee joints, and then you end up getting knee pain, and so many other muscle pain are actually caused by prolonged sitting. So a few of the tips that can actually help you to counteract or intervene this problem of sitting for a long time is to take some breaks in between, so that you don't allow sitting for more than 1 hour. You can stand up and stretch up, and then you can walk and go and take your food, or you can go and talk to a friend, and then you come back and continue working. just to make sure that you're actually interfering the time and you don't sit continuously for more than an hour or more than 2 hours. Another problem has to do with the posture, the sitting posture, which is something also that needs awareness and intervention. There are recommended posture that one should actually be when they are either standing or sitting. So there are sitting postures that will predispose you to getting back pain or shoulder pain or even knee pain because you're not sitting on the right posture. So it is very important to understand the right posture of sitting, and this goes along with getting the right chairs which are actually supporting the way you should sit, the right materials of chairs, the orientation of the chair are very important, but also for a person who is sitting, there's a way that you should sit so that you have a correct posture and you don't strain your backbone, and you're also not straining your muscles so that at the end of the day they end up getting spasm, and this is what we call pain because of the spasm. But also standing posture is quite important. Probably you're not standing for a long period of time, but there are people whose jobs subject them to long periods of standing. So they also need to know the right posture of standing, which is good for their health, so as they don't get into getting lower back pain and joint pains and other related health problems. So there's also shoulder posture, which is very important to understand how you should place your shoulders. As I said, probably you're not going to avoid to sit because that's your job, and but there's a way that you should sit. There's a way that you should orient your shoulders so that you don't strain your back, you don't strain your backbone, you don't strain your knees, and then at the end of the day you end up getting chronic knee and back pain. So there's a right posture that you should see and how to do that, and most of the time try to be in the right posture. They might look like minor things, but they're very, very important, and they can actually bring about serious health problems. So at office places, we really need to consider sitting at the right posture, having the shoulder on the right posture, as well as standing on the right posture. So talking of posture, now we cannot avoid talking about high heels, which are very common ladies at offices. One thing that we need to understand is, according to research that has been performed in different places, looking at the effect of high heels on, knee pain and also back pain sometimes, and injuries as well. Then, according to that, it has been recommended that the height of the heel, the shoe heel, should not exceed 3 inches. So if you're wearing something that is higher than that, you should know that you're actually putting yourself at risk of getting a lot of health-related problems. So there are also other recommendations when it comes to wearing high-heeled shoes, which include that you should not wear them all the time. There are certain places that you can just put them off and have your flat shoes, probably in the office if that is okay, or in the car or anywhere, so that you avoid the strain that you're actually putting on the ankles. But generally speaking, it is very important to watch out the heels, the high heels, and make sure that you stick to the recommended height of the heel. So another growing problem with workplaces is what we call repetitive strain injuries, which involves the eyes and the wrist. And this is mainly because we are mainly working on our computers, and when you're using a computer, your eyes are very much involved, your hands are very much involved, and your wrists are very much involved. And you really need to know the right way of intervening so that you avoid to get these RSIs. And one recommended intervention is to make sure that you rest using your wrist for some times, and then do some wrist stretch ups, which are very important, just to make sure that your wrists are relaxed. They are not in one state for a prolonged period of time. But also your eyes, which will mostly be focused on the screen for a long period of time. You should take a rest and try to move your head a bit and try to focus on something else and not the screen. So you should try to do this repetitively during the day, so that you avoid having your eyes focusing on the screen most of the time, and then your wrists just on the same posture when you're typing on the keyboard.